This is a big one.
Big one.
I've been waiting for this one for a long time.
Told you, platinum type moments, guys.
One of my favorite, if not my favorite, because I'll be honest, Giancarlo Stanton was my favorite. Now that he's a Yankee, he can't be.
Can't have it.
Nolan Arenado slides right into the top spot for favorite baseball player. Active in the league right now. It is a pleasure to be sitting next to you, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is we've been waiting a long time for this. We actually, in terms of like active players, it's you, it's Joey Votto. Non-active, it's like Griffey, Bonds.
Those are good. Those are good ones.
Pretty good class to be in.
No, I appreciate that.
We're setting our sights high. We're setting our sights high.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is you're a guy right now that we can put the superstar label on you for what your total package is. Talk about, because you are one of the best, if not the best, defensively at your position. How much pride do you take in your defense, because you're a guy that can go out there and mash 40 homers? And growing up watching 90s and early 2000s baseball, the guys who were mashing 40 homers did not give a fuck about defense.
They ain't doing that shit on the glove side. You know what I'm saying? That's not quite.
So talk about it's just like being so well-rounded.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of taking pride in both. I think for me, growing up with guys like Tulowitzki and stuff like that, he always used to preach to me, like, you got to be both. You can't be one-sided. You won't last long in this game. He used to totally preach that all the time to me, and it kind of just stuck with me because it was right. I didn't want to be able to let up somewhere. I didn't want to be that guy. We got to find a position for him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So little things like that, I was kind of like, I took to heart. I don't know why. It just kind of hit me hard. I was like, man, I don't want to be like that.
So was Tulo a guy that you definitely either you gravitated towards or he kind of took you under the wing, however that transpired, but he was a guy that sort of helped instill that kind of mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was more, he kind of put me under his wing for sure, but I gravitated toward him. He was always getting on me. He would chew me out, call me out, but like I kind of appreciated it.
Were you lazy?
I wasn't afraid to be a little lazy.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. Right. I was a little overweight and stuff like that, so he would give me a hard time all the time. So he did help me, but I really appreciate it because I knew he cared.
Sure.
So do you now find yourself being that guy? You're now the Tulo when there are younger guys that are coming in, and you're the guy that gets on them for certain things?
Yeah, I try not to. I'm not a big yelling guy. I'm more of like, hey man, like I'll talk to you. Like I'll talk to these young kids about the game anytime time of the day. I think nowadays it's more of it's a little different now. Nowadays you kind of have to not cuddle them, but you gotta you gotta be like, hey man, I'm here for you if you need me. You know what I mean? Where back in the day it was like you gotta earn it here. Yeah. Like, you gotta make sure you earn it to even get close to talking to Todd Helton or something like that. For me, I didn't want to bother Todd. Right. I haven't earned that yet. Yeah. So now I let everyone know, like, hey man, if you got questions about hitting, let me know or whatever, because I'm trying to win ball games and those young kids are gonna help me out.
Is that where this game is going right now? I love to hear this. There's a couple of guys who have sort of echoed this same sentiment, and I believe I always kind of lead towards the St. Louis Cardinals when I say this or talk about this, the difference between being brought up to the big leagues and brought in to the big leagues. The Cardinal way, but they bring guys into that fold. Wainwright has been a big proponent of that, and he's echoed the same things you have said just now. So I like to hear that. Is that where this game is going? Is that the best way to handle some of these kids that are coming up now that have done the travel ball cycle, that they know only one speed, all baseball, all the time? Is that the way to sort of go about that?
I think there's certain guys. I think it all starts getting to know someone. If you don't know how the guy is, then then you're not gonna know how to react to him or how to treat him. But I think at the same time you gotta have tough love with some of them, which we have a group of veterans that do that, you know what I mean? But there's a time to bring them in and be like, hey man, we need you. Let's go. Let's clean this up and stuff like that. And I think it helps us out. We have some young guys on our team that have really stepped up and done a really good job because they feel comfortable talking to us and playing their game. They don't feel like they gotta oh man, I gotta perform, or these guys are gonna talk to me. Exactly.
Yeah. We're just talking to you now. You're a pretty calm guy.
Yeah.
You've had some intense moments in baseball.
Yeah.
Just the walk-off with the blood on the face, the charge in the mound. Where do you sort of...
Tell me you have that picture hanging in your house somewhere.
The
just
blood
bleeding.
face
Just fucking maniacal. Are you kidding me?
It's like a scene out of 300.
Right. Who is this dude?
When do you find that it's most useful? Because here's a question that I've been meaning to ask a lot of guys that I haven't asked. Walk-up music.
Yeah.
Some guys want that intense shit. Some guys want the country music or relax going up to the plate. Where are you on that?
I'm on I play Travis Scott's been my walkout the last 4 years, and it just bumps, it's loud. And that's what I need. I need intensity. I think when the game starts, that's just kind of how I am. I get kind of intense, and I don't know, I got to turn. You got to be a different person, you know. And I try to be that way on the field. But definitely, you know, when I'm away from the field, I try to like just be a normal, enjoy my life, you know, enjoy hanging out with people. But and then when the game starts, you know, you have to be a different person.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is Travis Scott bumping off the field as well?
Oh yeah.
What do you? So it is okay. What is keeping you? Because I know, look, you go through spring training and there's things that you got to do to keep yourself focused, keep yourself healthy, but you're still transitioning back into that everyday flow that you're going to have coming. You find yourself in the middle of the season. Maybe there's an effort to get away from the game during an off day or whatever. How does Nolan Arenado get away from the game and relax, if that's a thing?
Yeah, I think I try to, you know, I like to golf once in a while. I try not to do it during the season. You know, during the season, I'll either go get a massage, go hang out, go work out or something, just kind of sweat. I've had those moments where I binge watch Narcos.
Yes. Yeah, have you watched the second one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Mexico one?
Yes.
Unreal.
You a Breaking Bad guy?
I haven't really got. I only watched a little. I know.
You got to. I just turned it. I started watching it this off season for the 5th time.
Yeah.
So I turned it on to him
excessive.
for the first time. You need to.
Yeah,
if you
I know.
ever
My
watch
dad
Breaking
loves
Bad.
it too. He
Yeah,
loves it.
I am balls deep in Breaking Bad right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
get it in you. I was
Yeah.
a big anti-Breaking, but now I'm like, fuck it.
You
Yeah.
guys watch Ozarks?
Yes.
No,
Oh
I
my
love that.
God.
That was
Mind
intense.
fuck. Give it all to me.
I know. That off season, this off season, I was all locked in on that one.
Yeah.
But I try to watch shows. But sometimes when I you guys know when you lay in bed all day, the next day you're a little lethargic.
Right. Yeah.
So I hate going to the ballpark like that. So I always try to find a way to move around, walk around the city. If we're on the road, maybe we'll go to the mall.
Okay.
Or, you know, New York or wherever. Just walk around the town, you know, city or
You
wherever.
big travel guy? You like to travel, get around?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I'm not a big you know, checking out things or oh wow, I need to go see this place. You
Right.
know what I mean? I mean Washington for sure. You know, you go to the Lincoln
monuments and
Memorial.
all
Yeah,
that
exactly. That's
stuff.
awesome.
For
That's
sure.
awesome.
Jared got tackled on the grass of the Washington Monument.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we were doing a skit video,
Yeah.
and one of the parts of the video we asked this random dude just tackle me, and he lit me the
Oh, yeah,
fuck
he lit him up.
Like there was no
combine approach.
Yeah, this was not like WWE. We're just gonna make it look good. No, he was a
went in
dude
hard?
that no, he basically was like, I've been waiting since high school to do this again. And I've been
He
waiting.
finally got that call.
Yeah.
You're sore the next day and all that?
I mean, I got out faster than him, so I'm just saying.
Credit to the
wasn't
Oh, you're bad.
shit.
You're bad.
In DC though, that was pretty badass when we went and saw all the stuff in DC
Yeah.
on the bikes at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, that's awesome.
You had the whole city to yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
It
That's
was
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
What,
that's
is that
great.
your favorite road city?
That's one of them. Boston's one of them. Love the food there. New York, Chicago. Chicago's fantastic.
That's a great point you just brought up. We've asked this, and it's a consensus. It's a resounding consensus.
Yeah.
Best park to grub at, visiting side.
Oof. Right now,
Period. This is the best.
Atlanta right now for me is the best.
Atlanta.
Oh,
All right.
it's-
An L guy, frequency.
This new visiting locker room is ridiculous.
Really?
It is huge.
I've yet to be to SunTrust. This is definitely something we've got
It
to
is.
get in.
It's huge. It's just as big as a home one. It's the food is unbelievable. They
Damn.
have chefs back there, TVs everywhere. You've
Well, you've
it's
been to
big
Yankee
time.
Stadium.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's.
I mean, you're
That's hard to say
putting
no.
words in his mouth. You're trying.
I simply asked.
No, no, Yankee
prompting
Stadium.
him to pick that.
In 2015, I think it was 2015 or 16. We went to New York for the first time there, and it was eggs, egg whites, bacon, turkey bacon, sausage, turkey sauce. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
doesn't stop.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like this in my life.
I was
That's
blown
all
It was
right.
the most fun.
It's decent. I mean,
Sorry.
I've seen better. It is what
Or
it
the
is.
chowder they're offering out there. Carrabis.
So I got to ask you about the World Baseball Classic, because the guys that played in that, especially when Team USA actually won, I feel like that experience has to be unlike anything that you've ever had as not even just a professional baseball player, just a baseball player in general. What did you sort of take out of that?
Well, first of all, I played terrible, and I played terrible during that whole thing. But it was so much fun because those guys just picked me up, man, and that's
Yeah.
that's when you know you're on a good team, is when guys are just absolutely picking you up constantly, and that's what those guys were doing. Jones with one of the best catches I've ever seen in my life. Hosmer was raking. Kinsler was raking. I mean, these guys were all Yelich.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, man. I mean, these guys were great, but it was
Stanton
honestly, it was still.
knocked
I mean,
down the building in San Diego.
yeah, Stanton was raking.
Yeah.
You know, as bad as I play, it was seriously one of the best times I ever had in my life. And you know, when you play bad, you know, it's not really that. It doesn't really become that fun anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I was struggling and I was still having one of the best times of my life, that's when you know it was real and legit. But just watching how guys go about their business every day and you understand why they're so good.
So that's kind of cool because it's like an all-star setting.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different venue, totally different feel.
Right.
And you're talking about, like, obviously you acknowledge that you didn't perform the way you wanted to, the way that you expect from yourself, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
But the feeling that, you know what, this is for something far greater than myself.
Yeah.
And there's not a ring at the end of this. There's a lot of pride.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a title that goes with it. But talk about what that's like, having that sort of feeling with another group of big league all-star caliber players, taking you back to sort of that little league feeling where 0 for 4 doesn't matter. We've won, and I'm going to get in line for my free hot dog and soda, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think it was crazy just being on teams with these guys because you're like, man, we play against these guys all the time, and then being with them, they were awesome, man. It was like you lower your guard with them, and
sure,
like you said, it was one goal to win, and I will say this, what I admire about Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Venezuelans and all Latins, they're always proud about what they're repping, their countries.
Yes.
They're always repping their country.
I love
it.
it.
With arm sleeves and all that, and I admire that about them. And it was really cool to just like win. Beat all of them, and then represent America.
Yeah,
those flags hanging around
America.
Yeah, man.
What I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? I feel like nobody wants to talk about America, but it's the greatest country of all time, and just ripping that flag was awesome.
Two-time World War champs.
That's what's and I love, but I love the fact that venue that it sets up the idea that we can get over the team colors.
Yeah.
It's national pride.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, as a ball player, look, I'm not getting tapped. I was never getting tapped to make that squad to perform for our country. I have just an irregular amount of pride when you guys run out there, strapped it on with the back, with the flag on your back. So, I mean, from coast to coast, man, know that we as players who aren't there with you love every fucking minute.
Yeah, you're representing everyone. You're representing everyone. It's when we went to because that year we were 17, we went to the wild card game because the Diamondbacks, we lost. And when you're with a group like guys for 6 months, 8 months, going to that wild card game meant a lot to us. You know what I mean? Obviously you're winning the World Baseball Classic. You're only with them for maybe a month. You know what I mean? So it doesn't feel as like connected, but how big America is and the pressure and like everything. It felt like you were with those guys forever. So I'm forever grateful for every one of them. So when I always see them, I'm always like, man, you were nasty then.
Who did you walk out of there going, wow, guy's a fucking weirdo? Or that guy's exactly how I thought he would be. And obviously, like, we're not talking about in a bad way because you meet those dudes and, like you said, it's cool to watch them go about their business. But I was always interested in that. Like, we get a new player over, whatever. Like, what's this guy like? What's he?
Yeah. I would say, Marcus Stroman works extremely hard, and he loves to talk, and I love him, man. I loved him.
The six-shooter. I love him.
It was cool. It was great. He was great. He was intense. He was staring down there, because Puerto Rico was like running over the mound when he was on it. They were doing some things, and he was just staring them down, and he just kept competing, and he was unbelievable. So that was awesome. But Andrew Miller really impressed me. He gave up a homer to Dominican Nelson Cruz, when we lost that game, and the loudest place I've ever been in my life still to this day. And right after that game in the weight room, getting after it, working hard, finding a way to get better the next day. Like, I don't know, I just admired that, because a lot of guys might want to just get out of the locker room and go home. He was still getting after it, and that's just something I admire.
What was it like to play under Jim Leland?
Awesome. I mean, he was my manager for 2.5 weeks, whatever it was, and he's like he's already going down as one of the best managers. He was intense, and just he gave some speeches to us that like it got your blood flowing. He almost got like watery-eyed because he was getting teary-eyed just talking to us.
Well, that was a swan song, basically.
He was just his fire and his energy, and it was awesome, man.
Well, you could and I don't want to bring this up in a negative light, but there was I guess issues with guys, their roster availability, whether they wanted to be there or couldn't be there or whatever, and you could feel that from him, like, he was already like, I don't want any excuses. I want guys that want to be here. And it's like, yo, Jimmy.
Yeah. That was a speech. That was a speech.
Sure.
That was part of his speech.
And everybody on that team wanted to be there every minute of every day. And while that's not possible, it was just good to see Jimmy because he's a dude and you already, you know.
Yeah. And he's old school, and I think he has that old school mentality, and you know how it is. It's just different, I think with the way people manage now, it's just different than how they were back in the day. Right. So he was really connected to us, in the locker room with us, talking to
be so
us,
cool.
coming to the outfield when we were stretching. Just cool stuff like that was awesome.
Yeah, just for like 2 weeks, be like,
Yeah.
like Jim
'Cause
Leland's my
he's
manager.
an awesome
Because he's
dude,
not
man.
coming back for anything else.
No.
Like, I'll
Yeah.
come back for fucking America.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Earlier I said you're a bona fide superstar.
Thank you.
Does it irritate you when people try to take away from that because of the Coors Field effect?
I think a little bit, but at times I don't even care anymore, man. I think I've heard it for a while now, and I don't know what to tell you. I think what people, like I said, I've said this before. What people don't understand is going on the road after you play at home is the movement it's just a lot more drastic, and it makes it harder to hit on the road. There's no question that I struggled on the road last year, which I didn't like. But the year before, I played really well, and it's just part of it. I think it's just cycles, man. See, baseball is just like that. But listen, I play at Coors. It's a great place to hit. There is no question about it.
Yeah.
And I love it, man. I love when I hit balls that go out, that should go out.
Yeah.
And I don't like going to San Fran when I hit balls that should go out and then don't go
they
out.
don't.
So
That's sea level, bro.
Yeah. Exactly. So
What's the most interesting conversation that you've had with an opposing player standing at their base when they're on the bag?
oh man,
Like during a pitch and change or anything like that?
No, I don't know. I've had some interesting ones, but for the most part, nothing crazy. I think Jason Worth was pretty funny. He was always just making noises and stuff at me and stuff. But I always admired that. He was always really cool to me. But honestly, Joey Votto was awesome, talking about the game hitting and stuff like that. One day he was asking me about how I dive, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I just dive. He's like, I love the way you dive, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say to that, man, because I don't even know anything about it. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm like, thanks, man. But he's cool. He's awesome. Honestly, I try not to talk to a lot of people.
Right.
But there's certain guys I have to pick their brain. Votto, I don't know who else. Prince Fielder's been over there. I want to pick their brain about hitting, man.
Right.
I want to ask you about a young kid that I'm getting to know on a personal level as well as a player level. Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
It's platinum over there in the AL too.
Yeah.
You know a little something about this guy.
Yeah, I do.
You guys are on the same fucking high school squad?
Yeah.
Like, was it just you and him on the left side, and like we don't even need an outfielder because they'll probably converge and catch that out there too? What is that like? Because you've been very humble in your assessment of Matt Chapman, and I have been very vocal about my assessment of Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
Hands down, the best third baseman in the American League, potentially in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And I throw that word out there because there's only one individual that even takes pause for me, and that's you, that prevents that just...
In
from
fairness,
getting-
Machado in the conversation.
Yeah, in the conversation, sure.
Because he is shifting
Solid.
back to third
Solid
base.
player.
Yeah, he's all right.
Decent player. Good player. But what is it like seeing him sort of start to come into his own as well, knowing where you guys came from together? Like, you've been here, you've established yourself clearly, and now you're watching that kind of unfold before you, knowing where he came from. Is that cool? Like a sense of lineage from where you guys came from, where you are now?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we didn't start together, so he was my backup shortstop.
Sorry about it.
Yeah. No.
Know your role, Chappie.
You know high school. You know how high school goes, man. It's if you're a senior, you're gonna play.
That's yours.
It is what it is. You don't even have to be the best player if you're the senior. That's kind of how it is. And we had a good team though. We were like top 5 in the nation at one point. Like we had a good senior class. So he had to wait a little bit, but he could have played anywhere, but coach had the team already. But so when I pitched or I got in trouble for throwing my helmet, he would play short. That's when he would play short.
Okay.
So that's how it usually went down. And so whenever I pitched, he was always at short. So that's how it worked. But it's pretty amazing to watch him play because he does some special things out there. I admire his game. I think he's only going to get better. And I mean, he's so strong, and he's got such a strong arm. I mean, he makes throws, and I'm like, man, I need to add a couple steps to mine to make those throws, or I gotta get out a little bit quicker. But you know what? He's definitely one of the better ones out there, and
No doubt.
he has a chance to be the best for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not on social media.
I am not at all.
That is so smart. Like that is so smart.
Yeah.
It's like it just you don't. It sucks. It's just constant
You
negativity.
gotta be this kind of guy though to be able to to just like cut that part of the world
Yeah,
completely.
but he
Yeah.
doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
No,
Like certain guys need to market themselves and brand themselves. Or if you're an okay player, you're decent enough, and it's like, well, I need I need to extend my personality to get in the commercials or whatever. Like you just don't need that.
I don't need that, man. I think social media could be a trap.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people getting in trouble with it. You see a lot of negative things on it. I mean, shoot, people are I mean, there's a lot of negative things on there. You know, people talk a lot of trash on there, and they wouldn't say those things to your face. And I don't need that stuff. And I don't need to be posting pictures with my family and someone telling me about how my mom's ugly or something. Yeah. I don't need that in my life. You know, I don't need to deal with that stuff because then I'll start DMing people.
Right.
And some people's throats.
What's up,
Yeah, exactly.
Tickets for you.
And then I find out he's like a 12-year-old kid. So I don't need that. In
Still
my
let
life.
those hands fly on a 12-year-old.
Yeah. No, I don't need that, man. I feel at peace just not having to deal with those things, and I have to focus on the things at hand.
What's the worst chirp you've ever gotten in a road ballpark?
Atlanta was, hey, that cup's a little small there, huh, kid? Right down the third baseline line, and that hurt real bad. And this is my rookie year, and I was just kind of like trying to fix my pants, like, wait, time out, what is going on? Yeah, I was like, dang, and I was 0 for 2, and I'm like, this is the worst day of my life right now. So it was a terrible time. That one hurt.
Yeah, I could see how that moment might start, especially in like the rookie season. It's like, wait, is it really?
Yeah, a little insecure.
So right now, it's a universal opinion that it's the worst time to be a hitter. Everyone's blowing 96. You get into the bullpens, it's 97, 98. What type of preparation are you taking with video or whatever to make it look so easy?
Yeah. I think I want to know movement. Obviously, I want to know velo and movement. I think those are really important to me. Spin rate too. I mean, there's guys now that are throwing 88 to 90 that feels like 94.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Velocity,
yeah, velocity. They're going up in the zone, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy how they're able to develop it like that. But I want to know movement, velo. I always do my homework on what I'm gonna do, like who am I gonna face and all those things. But at the same time, I try not to get buy into too much. I like to trust myself. I mean, when these guys are throwing that hard, all you can do is trust what you got. Right? So, I go up there and I have a plan, and I'm trying to get the ball up and hit it hard, and that's all I'm focused on.
How are you utilizing measurements, technology, things of that nature, some of the stuff you just touched on the pitcher side? How are you using some of these newfangled instruments to better yourself? Are you using them? Are you implementing them? When you talk about, because the first word that comes out of a lot of people's mouths to a hitter when asking this is launch angle. But that's just a word. And if you don't understand what you're asking, I feel like you end up sounding like a dumbass asking that question.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to try to assess and analyze yourself with the technology that is starting to make its way into the game? And do you find value in it for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like to watch, like, I do a lot of video on my swing on the side.
Side swing.
Like, I watch every like couple of days. I try to do it. I try not to do it every day personally for me. I don't want to get caught into like tinkering this and this and that, because if I feel good, then I feel good, right? You got to trust it. Like, I like what I feel, but I'm definitely paying attention to little things now more than I ever have. I think it's something to keep away, because last year I gone through some big slumps, and you have video of your good swings, and that's what I try to focus on. But it's just good to keep on it. I heard JD, Mookie Betts, these guys do it every day, and look what they're doing. Right. So I'm like, man, these guys are hitting at this level, and I want to get to that. I want to be like that too. So I'm learning. I'm trying to adapt to different things, but at the same time being myself while I'm doing it.
Sure.
JD's a freak.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He records his BP. He watches tape on everything.
Yeah, and I've heard that, and I love that. But I don't know if I could do it every day, because that's not me.
Yeah.
But I definitely got to do it a little bit once in a while now, because I really got to make sure and focus on these little things that, these little things become big things.
Yeah.
What is your favorite defensive drill to prepare yourself for the game? Because in your routine, you have X and Y and Z. These things need to be hit. Ground balls to the left, ground balls to the right, throws on the run, coming in and charging balls, bare hand plays, and then you're probably done, whatever it may be. This is something that Nolan has to do, and Nolan does, every day out in the field before the game.
Yeah.
What is that? Because little kids listen to this shit, and they're like, yo, I'm trying to go platinum too, son.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, I take ground balls on the back of the grass.
Okay.
To start. I like to throw it across the diamond from there. I feel like when I do it from there and I go in the game, I'm not throwing from the back. I'm throwing from the middle, and it feels like it's super easy. I don't have to put so much on it, because I've been working on it from back there all day earlier. So it's just kind of just fling it over there now. That's my drill. That's what I like to do. I do 20 at me, and then I'm side 5 to the left, 5 to the right, and then I go do double plays.
Yep.
Right at me again, forehand, backhand, and then I go back to the back, and then I just hum as hard as I can. Then let me just to remind myself that, hey, don't I don't want to create the habit of just lobbing, and make sure that you got this one ready. Just a reminder. So I think it's more of in moving your feet. I think these kids don't get caught not moving their feet anymore.
Can you explain fielding ground balls with your feet.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Because I can explain it. It's going to sound so much better coming out of your mouth. Explain to the people what that actually means, why that's important.
It's shuffle. It's not crossing the feet. You know, when kids they go like that, that's you get in trouble there. It's shuffling the feet toward the bag. It's easy on your arm. It helps your arm out, and you have more on it. And it's an easier throw. I think kids sometimes kind of just go and they just yank it up there.
On that arm.
And there's only a few guys can do that, and that's probably Matt Chapman is one of them. And I don't know who the other guy is, but I don't even mess around like that. You know, unless I have to rush and it's like D. Gordon running or something. But you know, I try to shuffle my feet constantly. It makes because a long season, your arm's gonna be sore. Like I hurt my arm last year a little bit. My shoulder got a little sore because I wasn't moving my feet. And so if I could just preach to those kids is constantly move your feet toward the base and where you're going, I think it's gonna really help them out.
Cross country flight, 5.5 hours. What 2 movies are you picking to pass the time?
Ooh, wow. Django.
Okay.
Django. I'm on this Quentin Tarantino kick like crazy. Watched Pulp Fiction a couple days ago.
There you go.
But
oldie but goodie.
Yeah. Django for sure. And then I gotta go with my favorite movie of all time, Goodfellas.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
2 solid picks.
And those movies will, by the time those movies end, I will be exactly
where
where
you-
because those are some long movies.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So
When I on the flight over here, I was flipping through the thing and I was like, it should be like mandatory that Titanic is on like all these. Like, let me just like bang out 3 hours
Titanic.
quick.
Oh, yeah?
And it was on there.
Titanic.
Oh hell yeah.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where it comes from.
James Cameron.
Wow.
Talk about the atmosphere at Coors during a playoff game because they get loud. I feel like Rockies fans don't get enough credit for their passion for baseball, but when it's time to show up and the lights are on, they show up.
It can rumble.
Yeah.
No, it gets really loud. I mean, the one game we had at home, we got killed by the Brewers and we got eliminated. So it got really loud, and then it got to booze, and it became the booze and got quiet.
Yeah.
But I will say, leading up to that, the playoffs before we flew to LA for that 162 or 163. We played the Washington Nationals, and it was loud, man. It was so loud. And, it makes a huge difference, man. That's how you win. I mean, the crowd plays a factor in these wins, you know what I mean? There's no question. And I think people, really take that for granted, but it's the absolute truth.
Pittsburgh. Was it the Pittsburgh wild card game where they absolutely rattled someone in a wild card game? I forget who it was. Was it 14, maybe?
Not Cueto. Was it Cueto?
It was Cueto.
On the
It was
ball.
Cueto.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So, it gets loud there in Coors, and, fans are really into it, man, and it's been so much better. Me and my brother and my cousins, we were watching old Rocky games on YouTube, like old homers.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why, just because we were bored, so we were watching some
Probably a
homers.
pretty cool YouTube video.
I know, we're just a bunch, and we don't have that many fans there, so in those games, we're like, man, that wasn't that long ago. So it just shows how far we've come. We're winning ball games, and the fans are really paying attention, so it's been really cool.
What was your aha moment? Oh my God, I'm in the big leagues. Holy shit, I'm in the big leagues. And I talked to this, I asked this question to some of the A's guys, younger guys, and it can be a number of things that trigger that response or that kind of click that memory for you. Was it on the field? Was it just seeing a guy in person? When did you realize, oh my God, I'm in the big leagues?
Yeah.
This is nuts.
I say it happened 3 times.
Okay.
Ooh.
One time was my first game in LA. And I was looking at, because Dodger Stadium's big.
Big.
It's a big
It's
stadium.
up there.
So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe here. And then AJ Ellis hit like a slide cutter through my legs. Right after, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. And then boom, cutter. Right on. I missed it.
Just wickets.
Right on. I'm like, oh God. Oh my God, I'm in trouble here. But that was one of my crazy moments. San Fran, how loud it was, and Angel Pagan hit that inside the park homer.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Because it was so loud. I'm like, I can't. Oh my God, this is the loudest I've ever been. And then the third, it was in Boston, just playing in Boston and seeing the Green Monster, and just being there in that stadium. I was like, dude, I can't believe I'm here right now.
Did you go into the Monster?
I did. I went in there. I think I signed
Atta
it.
baby.
I sat in Ted Williams' big homer out there.
Okay.
Sat out there.
All right.
We've been asking. That's been coming up a lot. Do you think he actually hit it?
Dude, that's far, man. I don't know, man.
It just straight up.
You
didn't
call him a
happen.
liar. I've called him a liar.
Yeah,
That's bullshit.
I mean, people from back in the day always say that the wood we get now is way better than what they had and this and that. And
Ortiz
guys
went out
nowadays
there with
haven't
the
got
metal
it
bat.
yet, right? So I don't know.
Ortiz went out there with a metal bat and didn't reach it.
Yeah.
So it just straight up didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great story, though.
It's a great story.
It is.
It's just fictional. It's okay. It's okay. I mean,
I don't know. I don't want to make anyone mad. So whoever, if you guys think it's true, it could be true. But I don't know about that one.
Who's your favorite baseball player growing up?
Sean Green, Dodgers. He used to hit homers, and then he used to give a batting glove away all the time. So I used to love.
Cool.
Yeah, I used to love that guy. Sean Green, Adrian Beltre, and Matt Holliday. Actually, those are like my main three.
How old were you in 2004?
2004.
Yeah,
Shoot,
that was Beltre's best year ever
in LA.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
the
yeah. I remember.
I
mean, 2004. Graduated in 2009, so I don't know. It's probably
you were in 8th
10,
grade?
Yeah, 12. Yeah, somewhere around there.
You have any Matt Holliday feats of strength stories? Because when Matty came over to Oakland, I always tell this story. The trainer handed him the grip strength tester, and he just kind of looked at it and was like, "I'll break it." And the trainer was like, come on, man. Everybody's got, yeah, come on, don't just shoo me away. He's like, I'll break it. He was like, he go, fine. Grabbed it, broke it, and just like handed it back to him. Was like, here, I told you. Let it go. And I was standing there like,
yeah. Dude, he's strong. He is strong. And actually, he's actually in great shape too. He's leaned out.
Right.
I just love his swing. I try to always my follow through is kind of like mimic to his.
Yeah.
Because he's always stayed through.
Yeah.
So I always thought like I got to do that. Obviously it's a little different, but I do that. I try to do it like him for sure. That was kind of like my guy.
When you came on the bus, you knew I was a Red Sox fan. Does that mean that you're also a Barstool fan?
Yeah, man. I think you guys are great. We always mess around. I'll tell you a funny story. Whenever we hit, me and my cousin, my brother, we always do a little game where like we'll play like a competition. Like, you got 3 outs. You know how it is. BP thrower. Hey, we'll see who scores the most runs.
Yep.
Whatever. And then one time, I'm like in the 9th inning, and I mess around. Or my cousin always does this. He's always like, all right, one swing. Everyone knows the rules. so we do that. We like the pizza thing, So he always jokes. We always joke around stuff like that.
Love it.
So a guy like you, obviously, like you're so your numbers are consistent, and they're consistently great. So when they're consistently great, is there anything that you can even say like I need to make an adjustment going into a new season, or is it just like I need to do what I did last year to get back to where I was last year?
No, there's definitely things I want to get better at for sure. I think it's quality of at bats. I think it's obviously I want to be better on the road again, and then I think it's just being more consistent up there. I've struck out a lot last year, and I don't like doing that. But there's guys that are hitting 330, and I think everyone's goal is right is to hit like I want to hit 300 with 30 and 100, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but those are I truly believe in my heart those can be realistic goals, and I'm trying to do it. Those aren't my goals, but those are things you always strive for. So there's definitely room to get better, and I definitely want to be better on defense. My goal is always make 10 or less errors. And made 15 last year, so got to clean it up.
I feel like I already know the answer to this question. You being an NL guy, I'm going to ask you who has the nastiest shit that you've faced. I feel like I know the answer to this question. I'm curious to what you think.
Wow. In the National League for
No, I'm just saying because
in general.
Yeah, in general. Like
who do you think it is?
Nola.
Ooh, he is pretty good.
Yeah.
He is nasty. He's a good pitcher. Corey Kluber was in 17 was a tough at bat. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know. I think Walker Buehler's got some really good stuff.
Yeah.
He's a tough one, but you know what, man? Honestly, every one of these guys is nasty.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is, you know. But it comes with it. And
was there ever an at bat where you just you took one look in, or you just missed it by 2 feet and walked back to the dugout, almost like laughing at yourself, being like, "That was just ridiculous."
No, I'm not. I don't know. I feel confident in every at bat, so I don't really go home.
He ain't tipping the cap to just fucking everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys.
These guys are nasty for sure. But no, I mean, I never go back saying like, "Whoa, he just absolutely dominated me." I don't know. I guess that's just like, I don't know, just being a baby, maybe just like, no, he's not that good, right? Yeah. That's kind of what I do sometimes. But in my rookie year, Belisario. Okay. 96 sinker,
just super sinker,
right into my hands, and I was just getting so jammed that year. My thumbs were killing me. I'm serious, and I was just like, I remember vividly just being like, I do not want to hit right now.
Yeah.
And I got jammed, and my thumbs were killing me at third base, and I was like, this is why I didn't want to hit. So that's what I remember my rookie year for sure. Something like that was just the moment I was like, I really don't want to go up there right now.
Yeah. Like we talked earlier about your influence on guys in the clubhouse. Who's the guy in the Rockies clubhouse that keeps everything loose?
Well, we got Mark Reynolds back. He always keeps it loose.
Yeah.
He's great for us.
He's the dude that can do a split, right? Like, you can just do a full
split.
He's
good at first.
Like, nuts to the ground split.
Yeah. He's good. Cargo was always that guy for us, Gerardo Parra.
Yeah.
They're not here no more, which is sad for us.
Wait, is Cargo a free agent?
Yeah.
I think he'll come back.
Yeah.
It was like Tim Wakefield. Like it was like, all right, we'll give you 1 year deal. We'll give you 1 year
For
deal.
the rest
He's
of your
gonna,
life.
it just makes sense. Like his numbers at Coors are like legendary.
I was so excited when I was disappointed when Cargo left. Obviously, it left Oakland, but I was thinking to myself, he's going to Colorado.
Yeah.
I was watching him shit on balls.
Yeah, in Oakland. Yeah, that's right.
It was just disgusting. Like, who is this dude? I just said it the other day. It was like he walked out of the creative player mold, like just super swaggy, just dropping dick from the left side, hose, go get it in the outfield, get it all.
He was a 5-tool player, he was awesome, and he's still got big time pop. I mean, we would love for having him back. He's awesome. But I think we got Murphy now. Ian Desmond keeps things loose. I mean, we got a good collective group, man, and solid pitchers, and it's easy to keep things loose around there.
From afar, just standing and watching, being a witness, kind of having a ticket to it every night. Talk about the run that Story went on.
Oh.
Just dick.
Preposterous.
Everywhere. Just smashing shit. And he's a young guy. He's probably thinking to myself, like, this fucking game's pretty easy. Got this one on lock. Next. I mean, what's that like watching this dude just come up and dominate?
Yeah, it was amazing to watch. Honestly, because it wasn't just one way. It was like backside homers, pull side homers, center field homers, defense, stealing bases. I mean, I think he was only a couple bags from 30-30. You know what I mean? And it was amazing to watch. And it just the transformation from 17 to 18 for him was crazy because 17 he struggled. There's a book on him. 16 he had a great year. He got hurt. 17, everyone expected, maybe put some. I don't think there's pressure on him. I think it's just one of those years. It was just a tough year. And then 18, man, just a different dude, just totally in his zone. I mean, pitches that were nasty, he was just getting to, and bombs. They weren't even, they weren't wall scrapers.
With authority.
Yeah, with
He's
authority.
talking about getting to shit that you're like, I'm just trying to lay off that, maybe?
Yeah,
and you're hitting him.
I'm trying to hit it like a base hit up the middle. Yeah. He's going backside homers. And I'm like, dude, what is – I mean, it was crazy, man. But it was so much fun to watch. I mean, he carried us at the end there for a little while. Sure. So it was huge.
We just saw Mariano Rivera become the first player to get the 100% total induction into the Hall.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next one?
The next 100?
The next 100%. The next consensus,
Man.
he's the guy.
Yeah.
Is he already retired? Is he a guy playing right now? And why do you think we would or would not see that?
Man, I said Jeter, but I think some people are going to kind of give him a hard time about it, just because he didn't have a bunch of homers or something.
They'll find something.
Yeah, they'll find something.
My whole point.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kershaw will probably he'll be one, I think. I mean, I don't think you can argue his numbers. I think when it's all said and done, he'll go down as probably the best pitcher of our generation or baseball. Sure. So I think he'll be 100. I mean, whoever doesn't vote for him, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Why? Why wouldn't you vote for him? But honestly, right now, I mean, I don't know too many guys that. I mean, I know like Barry Bonds and all those guys are out there. Obviously, they didn't get it, but. I don't know. Mariano's a special player. I mean, he did some special things. So, yeah, it's nuts to think that he got. But that was awesome, man. He's a good dude from what?
Great dude.
I don't know him personally, but I've heard great things about him.
I've met him a few times. Awesome dude.
Yeah, great things about him.
He doesn't know me.
We asked the A's this question, obviously just talking about Mariano Rivera. If you could step in the box to see one pitcher in baseball history, not to be like, I could take him deep, but just to see what it looks like, who's that guy?
Wow.
Taking in his whole kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Everything. You get it
the
all.
whole repertoire.
Everything?
Yeah.
Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
Because he was nasty. He'd be fun. Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
I think Pedro for sure when he was in Boston, kind of like, just nasty stuff, and then he'll come at your head once in a while just to let you know, not get comfortable.
97.
Yeah.
This guy on.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'd be an amazing guy.
I don't remember what year it was. I think it was like 99 or 2000, somewhere in there. Peter Gammons was trying to do a story going around asking players like who has the best fastball, who has the best changeup, who has the best curveball.
Pedro.
And then he scrapped the whole piece because he was like, everyone said Pedro for every pitch.
Really? Yeah.
like,
Greg Maddux would be a great one too.
Oh yeah.
Just because it wasn't high velo.
Yes.
It was just the movement would be crazy to watch.
Nasty back whipper.
Yeah, like you think it's a ball and it just pops in way. So
Yeah.
that'd be crazy to watch too.
Being in that lineup with other guys like Chucky Blackman, and you have Cargo when he's there, Story, does that sort of take the pressure off you? Because you are the guy, but you don't have to, no one's looking at you like, please, Nolan, carry us to the promised land, because there are guys that mash in that lineup. Does that take pressure off you knowing that the guys behind me and in front of me are going to be doing just as well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, I put enough pressure on myself that I want to be the guy anyway.
Yeah.
So even if I have Barry Bonds and these guys on my team, I still want to be the guy too.
Right.
So, I have a job to do, and I want to do it at a high level and do the best I can. So, but it is nice to know that I have that protection there too. You know, with Daniel Murphy, Story, Charlie, Dahl, Zakai, he's becoming a dude. Yep. You know, we got some guys. You know, so it makes life easier that I don't have to stress about these at bats, and I think that helps. But I definitely want to be the guy every time.
Do you think that there was a double standard last year because everyone wants to take away from the Rockies hitters because of Coors Field, but then the Rockies pitchers last year did a tremendous job, but everyone was like, you know, they're doing this in Coors Field. Like, where's their extra love? Like, there should be an element of that.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, if you're going to dog the hitters, I mean, you have to put Kyle Freeland at the top also.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to show love.
You know, come on, what DeGrom did was ridiculous. You know, you can't, I mean, he deserved the Cy Young, but Kyle Freeland deserved to be right up there.
You got to be in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more than what he had, I believe. And same with German Marquez.
Yeah.
He's nasty too. I mean, people don't understand how good this guy is. He's got some nasty stuff, but you know, I think Freeland deserves a little bit more credit. It's just one of those years where you went up against a guy that did historic stuff.
Right.
So by the time this interview with you airs, Kyle would not have heard this. We're going to his place later. So what's a question that we can ask him that would be like, how the fuck did you know that?
Why do you know this?
Man, let me think of something with Kyle. I mean, I don't know. Something about his hitting. He was brutal last year.
Yeah.
And he's got a good swing, but he was awful last year. So you can say something about his swing, or his golf swing. We played a little skins match last week.
Okay.
And first shot on the tee, he went just like 50 feet. And you can be like, hey, man, I heard about that little pop-up you hit.
Oh, I heard you had to play
tee.
the first hole of that round with your pants down.
So what's going through your mind when you normally just can't hit it past the ladies' box? Like, what's going on in your mind when that
how did it
happens?
feel to hit that? I heard you hit a little 50-yarder on 115 at Mountain Shadows. How did that go? And he'll be like, oh, what do you mean, Nolan? Because I think when he hit it, I was like, you know, you could par from there. I parred from there before. So I tried to let him know. Yeah.
That's ruthless.
Yeah.
Well, if you had to pick a second sport, what would it be?
Oof, I'd probably say golf. You know, it used to be basketball because I love basketball, and you know, you get all the celebs at every game, and it's just basketball's just sick. And 8 teams make the playoffs, which is like, dude, I mean, that's what I love. I mean, if baseball was like that, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, 8 teams make the playoffs. It's crazy. So basketball would be pretty cool. But I've been watching a lot of like Tiger videos, like big putts and like big shots. And it's pretty cool, man.
That's dope.
All right, awesome.
Before we let you go, one question we like to ask each and everybody that we have here. If we could take you back in a hot tub time machine to any moment in baseball history that you can bear witness to, what would it be and why?
Wow. It's either going to be – oh, man, that's a tough one. It has to be those Yankee Red Sox rivalries for me, personally. I think just watching – you got A-Rod. You got Jeter on the team. You got Roger Clemens going against Manny, Big Papi. I mean, I think Pedro Martinez.
Veritek was a huge part of that rivalry for me.
Yeah, Veritek, yeah.
Soft spot for
the third baseman, is it Mueller?
Bill Miller.
Bill
Yeah,
Miller.
but it was smelled like Mueller.
Yeah.
There was
awesome.
Bill Miller. We had Millar.
Yeah.
Miller. There's all those Millers.
I think that rivalry was crazy then, and I would love to be like
a part of it.
Or like in the locker room, seeing how these guys were acting.
Sure.
And, you know, that was crazy. That was, I mean,
Nolan,
that's when baseball
you
was crazy.
still can. There's still time.
Hey, it's tampering. It's tampering.
There's still time for
Knock it
this.
off.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in 2020. Nolan Arenado, thank you so much for coming
Thanks, guys.
on.
Appreciate
Best of
having
luck
me.
this
Thank you.
season, but you don't need it.
No, I know. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thank you.